Well, welcome in. How are we doing tonight? I hope you are having a fantastic evening. We are live here on YouTube for our weekly NBA special. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. My name is Chris. I am your host in the Action Lab for tonight. I will be going over a lot in the NBA, lot to cover, so we're going to dive into all of these different storylines. We're going to dive into some power rankings. We're going to dive into some of my best bets that I made earlier on in the day to see how those are going. And we're going to see how things go. We're going to see. This is our second stream on YouTube, so we are getting rolling here, trying to expand. Riley, what's going on? How are we doing? Good to have you in. Thank you for being a part of it. Riley, I know you're all about the NFL and the NHL, but it's good to have you in here for some NBA talk and supporting the Action Lab on a different day, on a different platform. But we are your premier sports entertainment talk show on Twitch and YouTube. So we kind of span a little bit of both. And, you know, we have a big following on Twitch for all of you guys who are new to the channel.
new to YouTube and everything else. My partner and I started Action Lab about 2 years ago. We celebrated 2 years recently, and we're getting rolling here, and we're expanding a little bit on YouTube as well. So we're going to have a lot of fun getting things rolling here and doing some fun new things. Riley had to show up for support. Appreciate that. Love the support. Let's go. I'll take it. No, it's great to have somebody in the chat. It's great to have all of you guys in the chat. If you guys are here, jump in and help move things along. It's always easier if you can help, throw out your different takes, your different opinions on anything and everything that is sports or NBA. So this show is dedicated towards NBA. We also have our show on Twitch where we cover NFL. We cover hockey. We cover baseball. We cover a little bit of everything. NFL is kind of the big one. But yeah, you got to come over. Come check us out on Twitch as well. If you hang out with us on Twitch, you can help us troll Scotty. Yeah, Scotty is my brother-in-law. He's my partner in crime, and he is usually in the Action Lab with me. But we're, just me solo here tonight in the NBA stream on YouTube. So, yeah, no, Scotty, he gets fired up. He's a Nuggets fan, though. That's a good thing about it. He's the Nuggets fan of the family, as is I. I'm from Colorado. So is Scotty. Well, Scotty's not. He's pretty much from Colorado. He was born somewhere else. Kansas City Chiefs fan, unfortunately. But luckily for him, it's saving graces. He's an Avalanche, Nuggets, Rockies, everything else. So we'll take it. We'll take it. But yes, we are live here on YouTube again. So if you're here, hit that subscribe button so that you know exactly when we're uploading videos and when we go live and all of those things. So make sure your notifications are turned on. So pretty much how this show works is, and this is a new show. This is our second time doing this Thursday night show. How this is going to work is we're going to dive into it, and we're going to jump into some NBA action on, this platform. So, we had a lot of success in the last show right before Christmas, covered the Christmas games. We're going to cover some of the games tonight. I'm going to have the scoreboard up for that. We're also going to talk some storylines and also some other aspects of some power rankings, top 10 this week, coming at you. They're looking a little different from last week. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with how my best bets did tonight. So, hey, Scott, there you go. Scotty is in the chat. Let's go. My co-host for the Action Lab. Make sure you say hi to Scotty there. Watch yourself, Riley. Yeah, Hey, yeah. See? We're starting to get some people rolling in. It's going to be a good night. Going to be a good night. Guys, also, if you guys know anybody who loves NBA content, spread the word. Like to get this channel up and rolling, and we're going to be doing a lot moving forward when it comes to the NFL on YouTube as well. So, there you go. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's dive into some power rankings. Look at this. Nice and clean setup here for power rankings. Kind of updating it as we go. But gonna dive into these top 10 teams. But before we do, want to make sure there's no storylines going on in the NBA right now. A couple things I already saw. Buddy Hield already just took 3 seconds to break a record for the fastest three-pointer in a game. I guess that's a thing. But yeah, Buddy Hield making some history there randomly. We have what else? DeRozan rallying the Bulls after the excessive hit against. That was the other night. We saw that. Booker sidelined a few weeks, so that's going to affect some of the power rankings as well. Scuffle with Pistons and Magic. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was kind of wild. But, yeah, the few storylines hanging out there, lingering out there in the NBA world, but nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. So, with that being said, I think we just, at this point, dive into this... we dive into this a little bit and see, what you guys think about this top 10. First of all, we're going to start off with the Phoenix Suns coming in at number 10, dropping a little bit from last week. Phoenix Suns lost one most recently, so they're 4-6 in their last 10. issue here with me with Phoenix is Devin Booker. Devin Booker's going to be out for a little bit. I don't know. I mean, obviously, they were able to get a wild win against the Grizzlies randomly the other night, but lost at Washington. So Washington took care of business, beating them by 25 points, which probably not the best outcome there. And then the next up for the Raptors. But with this, I just don't think that the Phoenix Suns are going to be in a spot where they might be falling out of the top 10 here pretty soon, based off of the fact that they just won't have some of that depth. I think that they need some of that to get through. And, I mean, Devin Booker's a big piece of it, right? I mean, you could only do so much with Bridges, Craig, Ayton, and Chris Paul in that starting lineup. I know they don't really have as much depth as, they have a little bit, but not enough to carry them through. So this will be a rough patch for them. I believe he's out for about 4 weeks. So with that being said, I think this is a spot where this is one of the final weeks we probably will see, the outside of something crazy happening, the Phoenix Suns in the top 10 here, as they will most likely struggle a little bit finding some scoring output. I mean, you're going to need some guys to pick it up. Cameron Payne is still out. He's not been able to get healthy. Landry Shamit's been out. He's not been able to get healthy. So this is just a beat-up team at the moment. But as of right now, still, they are in a spot where they can, find themselves 5th in the West, 20-16. But this is probably going to be their last week being in the top 10 for a little bit of time here. Next up, we have the LA Clippers. Clippers making their top 10 debut, leapfrogging a couple teams that were on the list last week. Clippers coming in 21-15 at the very juncture we are at right now, and they are in action actually tonight as well. So we will see how they end up faring tonight. But 2-game win streak, 7-3 in their last 10, and starting to play a little bit of good ball here. I mean, I think, they're starting to get into a point where, they're feeling good. Reggie Jackson's playing pretty well. Paul George, Kawhi. I mean, you never know when Kawhi is going to ever play. So when he does, it's kind of, it's kind of a big deal. But Kawhi's slowly starting to get kind of warmed up in the season, which is kind of crazy to say that we're almost in the new year. And, oh, yeah, Kawhi, by the way, he's kind of getting ramped up. But LA Clippers starting to look a little bit more like what we thought they were going to be. And again, when Kawhi plays, they're 11-3. So they are really, really good with him. I just don't know how often he's going to be available. He's always going to be on the sideline with whatever it is, load management, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how he's going to last a season, but he's going to probably ramp up as it goes on. Either way, Los Angeles is a dangerous team when he finds himself into that lineup, but we'll see what happens. When they're all clicking, this is probably one of the better teams in the West. So had to include them here in the power rankings as they are slowly starting to get a little bit more in tune and in a rhythm this season. So Clippers coming in at number 9. All right. So next up, Pelicans. Pelicans coming in. Pelicans have been a team that have been, kind of lingering around in the top of the Western Conference. And they find themselves after the loss for Denver yesterday against the Kings. Back-to-back, tough lost by 1. Tough one there. But Pelicans find themselves tied for first in the West with the Denver Nuggets, 22-12. So they're looking fantastic. They've won 4 straight. They're looking a little bit better and better as the weeks go on. Zion's playing and playing at a pretty decent level here. So, this roster is solid, though. This roster, as long as they stay healthy, you got McCollum, Ingram. I love Herbert Jones. Herbert Jones is what brings a lot of what, he's not talked about a ton, but he can do a lot in a lot of different areas when it comes to blocking shots, rebounding, being that guy that just maybe doesn't put up the big high point totals by any means, but affects the game in a lot of ways. Zion, obviously, and Jonas Valanciunas. He's been pretty good as of late. I think at one point, recently he had a bigger game. But otherwise, this team is a pretty good team. Still have a decent bench. You still have some depth at what the Pelicans can bring. But they've had wins over the Spurs, the Thunder, the Pacers, the Timberwolves. So, some of these teams are on the weaker side. I don't think the Timberwolves are, that prolific by any means. I think Pacers can be hit and miss based off of, the night you get them. You just never know what Pacers team you're going to get. And then the Spurs, Thunder. Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger test will come next up against the Philadelphia 76ers here tomorrow, which I think that's going to be a hell of a game. Philadelphia, obviously, in the 5th spot in the Eastern Conference. So a matchup between Philadelphia and the Pels tomorrow, it's going to be solid. So make sure you keep an eye on that. But Pelicans coming in here at number 8. Speaking of Philadelphia coming in at number 7. Philadelphia's in a weird spot, but there will probably, they might be a little low on this, but there's, I don't know. For me, I still am waiting for this to last another week or so before I'm like, all right, the Philadelphia 76ers are back in the mix. The East is stacked, guys. You got Cleveland, Milwaukee, you got Brooklyn, and you got Boston, all above Philadelphia, all quality teams. Cavaliers doing it with defense, Milwaukee doing it with the best player in the world, but still have a lot of injuries. Middleton's still out. You got Brooklyn playing the best basketball in the NBA at the moment, and then you have Boston Celtics, who have been prolific for the course of the year pretty much, and are on a 3-game winning streak. That's tough. That's tough for the Philadelphia 76ers to get right, but they're 8-2 in their last 10, 20-13 on the season, 4 games out of first place. So I don't know. I think the Philadelphia 76ers pack a lot of punch, and I think that they have a lot to offer. Tyrese Maxey is expected to return this week. Man, when they get Tyrese Maxey back, I'm curious to see how the flow of the basketball runs with James Harden, and they have some hard choices with DeAnthony Melton, who's played as a starter. He's played very, very well. So I think that that's going to be an interesting how the 76ers decide to kind of mix in and ease in Tyrese Maxey. I mean, the way they're playing, maybe you just kind of make sure Tyrese Maxey is good to go for a little bit. Maybe give him that extra buffer and then get him back. I mean, there's no rush. You guys, the 76ers are playing good ball, and you're doing it without him. So take your time. But Philadelphia 76ers are on the upswing and could be a surprise team. I know we don't talk a lot about the Philadelphia 76ers because of all the other stacked teams. Obviously, I mentioned all of them, the top 4 teams ahead of them in the standings in the East. But man, I'll tell you, look out, because this one, the 76ers might be on the way up, and you might not want to be in the Eastern Conference playing them when it comes down the stretch or in the playoffs. So just keep an eye on them. Next up, the Grizzlies. Man, have they? Let's just say they've lost a couple recently. They are 1-3 in their last, or 1-2 in their last 3, and as of right now, 2-game losing streak for the Memphis Grizzlies. So you remember, I think I recall previously this week, Ja Morant out there saying, "Oh, worried about Boston. Not worried about anybody else in the West. Worried about the West? Nah, I'm good. I'm good with the West." Meanwhile, he rattled off losses to the Warriors, the Suns, the Nuggets. I'm just like, what are we doing? So Ja Morant, obviously, very confident. I like the confidence. I mean, what are you going to say? I think you got to give some love to the West. But Ja's having an insane year, and they're playing really good basketball. I mean, they're good right now. At the moment, 20-13, third in the West, 1.5 back of Denver and the New Orleans Pelicans. So they're just going kind of trending the wrong direction. 6-4 in their last 10. I think that, Desmond Bane's kind of getting back up to speed with things. I think he's got a little bit of time before he gets back into the full swing. But yeah, the whole Ja Morant thing though, just kind of makes me laugh a little bit. But I mean, when you're a guy that does what he does on the court, it's pretty insane. And I still think he's providing bulletin board material for a lot of the teams in the West. When you're pretty much saying, I'm not worried about you. Well, you better be, because there's some good teams in the West. So this week, they have back-to-back against the Pelicans and Kings as well. It's a chance to get the ship right for them. This is a big chance for them to boost their way up this power rankings. But as of right now, if they struggle this week, I mean, it's a tough out. Back-to-back against the Pelicans, isn't it? That's not going to be easy. Maybe they take two, or maybe they take one out of the two, but they still got some tough matchups. So Grizzlies, we'll see what they're made of. Let's see if they can keep it going, but we'll see. But Bucks up here at number 5. So number 5, Milwaukee. Milwaukee currently sitting at number 3 in the East. 22-12. There's a lot of teams at the top of the NBA, right, hovering around those same records here. 22-12, 23-12. A lot of teams are kind of in that mix of some of the better teams in the NBA. But the issue here is Milwaukee's a good team. They're losers of 4 straight. So 4 straight losses coming from the Bulls, the Celtics, the Nets, and the Cavs. Now, what do those have in common outside of the Bulls? Those are some pretty damn good teams. Cavaliers, Nets, and Celtics are all above Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference standings. So, those ones, I mean, it was 8-point loss to the Cavs, an 18-point loss to the Nets, who are the hottest team and one of the best teams in basketball right now. And they got blown out by the Celtics. And, I mean, I think that this is a team that really needs to get healthy. They need Middleton back. Middleton has not been healthy to sit there, and I mean, he's been sitting on the bench, hasn't been able to contribute. Giannis can only do so much. I think they're still mixing some of the other guys in and trying to get them in a good spot to where they can get in a nice rhythm. So I just think that from a depth standpoint, I think you're looking all right. Bringing in, Grayson Allen's a nice kind of he mucks up some games here and there, but Brook Lopez is having a decent year. Joe Ingles, I think he's going to get a lot more time as the season goes on. He's a solid, guy that can come in. He was great for Utah. He can come in and do the same thing for Milwaukee, but I think that that's where Milwaukee is struggling right now, and Chris Middleton's going to solve a lot of those problems. But I don't know. Milwaukee Bucks are my pick to come out of the East, but the way the East is looking at top to bottom, it's tough. It's tough. Cavs coming in at number 4 on the list. Cavs 22-14. They are 3.5 back of Boston, and they are 6-4 in their last 10. The problem with this is they are losers of 3 straight. Those 3 straight losses most recently have come to the Nets on fire, the Raptors, and the Pacers. So Cleveland has been doing it a lot with defense, but defensively, they haven't been playing well over the course of the last couple games. They are only giving up about an average of 105 points a game, and they're leading the NBA in defense and points scored. However, they've given up 135 to the Pacers, 125 to the Nets, and 118 to the Raps. So all of those aren't great trending for your Cleveland Cavaliers defense. Obviously, the Cleveland Cavaliers will, be better there, but the perplexing one is like the Raptors lost at home. That one, you had to. I don't know. I feel like the Cavaliers are just kind of going through that that spot where they just have that, that little part of the season where they just kind of really just let it go a little bit. They got to bring it back in, reel it back in. I think they'll be fine. I think this is just a blip on the radar for them. But this roster, I mean, Darius Garland is going off. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, holding down the middle. I mean, I love this roster, how it's constructed. Donovan Mitchell, obviously, he's coming in and making an impact immediately. So, this is a great roster. I think will be a roster that will maybe do some damage in the playoffs coming up. So, but yeah, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers coming up at number 4. I don't know why I feel like I have this team too low. I think I might. I mean, I think 3 is pretty high, but the way this team, Brooklyn, when we came into the season, we were like, man, what's Brooklyn doing? Brooklyn can't even, I mean, it's a soap opera. What are they doing? And I think Brooklyn was one of those teams that no one had expectations for. You just didn't think that they were going to be anywhere near where they should be. And they're just going to be dealing with distractions. You got Kevin Durant, trade stuff. You have coaches getting fired. Steve Nash got let go, which is a good deal for him. You had all of these issues happening with, Ben Simmons. You had Kyrie Irving being a distraction. And then you look up and it's December 29th. And you have the Brooklyn Nets, 23-12, winners of 10 straight, the hottest team in the NBA. Doing it against decent teams. I mean, the last they beat the Bucks on this stretch. They beat the Cavs on this stretch. I mean, there's some weaker teams that mixed in, but some, middle of the road teams as well. And they are just rattling off win after win after win. I mean, it's kind of perplexing. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 games and 1 loss in that 15-game stretch. I'm telling you, Kevin Durant playing incredible basketball at the moment, and everybody's just kind of meshing at the moment. It feels so strange to look up and see the Brooklyn Nets where they are. But at this point, the Nets, they are probably on their way. If they keep this going, you have one of the best players in the world, Kevin Durant, putting this team on their back in a strong Eastern Conference. It wouldn't shock me if this continues. I mean, winning changes a lot. Winning fixes a lot. And when you're doing this kind of winning, everyone's feeling good. Everyone's happy. There's no drama when everything's going good. You're happy. This could be infectious and could be a trend moving forward. I mean, it's not just a blip on the radar. They've done it for 15 straight games. 19th ranked defense. I mean, they've been picking up their defensive side of the basketball as well. They've been winning a little bit on that side. But 124.6 offensive rating in their last 9 is out of control. It's insane how good that is. So this is wild, but hey, here you go. Brooklyn Nets coming in at number 3. Number 2, my Denver Nuggets. And a lot of times people say, "Oh man, you're a homer. You're all about those Nuggets." But think about this. The Nuggets have one of the best teams in the West, if not the best team in the West. I mean, honestly, you look at their roster and they're getting healthier. You got Michael Porter Jr. coming back, putting impact on some of the minutes that he's been putting in. You got, he put up 30 points the other night, and he was looking pretty good. Now, obviously, he needs to stay healthy. But Nuggets winners of 8 of their last 10, dropped one on a back-to-back in Sacramento. So you lost that one to the Kings by 1. Otherwise, the Nuggets tied for first in the West with the New Orleans Pelicans. And, I mean, you want to talk about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only losses in that 10-game stretch to the Lakers and to the Kings. So outside of that, you've beaten some good teams. You got the Grizzlies in there. You beat the Grizzlies. Trailblazers are a team that kind of is surprising people, still being competitive in the West, but they're still in the mix. We got a nice win against the Trailblazers, the Suns. Devin Booker played about 4 minutes in that one. I understand that. But at the same time, still, the Suns are one of the better teams in the West. So from top to bottom, Jokic doing everything, putting up 40 points here and there, just like it's nothing, triple doubles. He's doing everything. He's getting his team involved. The scary part is there was a game in this stretch where he had 2 shots in the first half, and they still ended up winning that game with him not having as big of a stat line. He doesn't need to be the guy. And that's what's insane about the depth of this Denver Nuggets team. So, also, a big thing to notice about this stretch, Nuggets, before that game last night against the Kings, where they gave up 127, they were giving up over the last 5-game win streak 108 points per game, which is one of the top in the NBA at that clip. So, you want to hear something scary, guys? Nuggets playing defense. That's pretty scary. If you're a team that's playing in the Western Conference, any team, if the Nuggets can consistently play top, let's say, 3rd in the league in defense, they're going to be a contender even further than what they already are. And they're first in the West. Keep an eye on the Nuggets, guys. They are an absolutely dangerous team. Once Michael Porter is continuously healthy, I mean, you got Aaron Gordon throwing dunks everywhere. He's been absolutely crazy. I mean, outside of the dunks, he's just been a very productive. His shooting percentage is off the charts for the average of his career. Caldwell Pope, Bruce Brown, Christian Brown are all contributing on the defensive side. Bones Highland you go 2 levels in this. I get it. I get that when Jokic leaves the court, they struggle a little bit. But it will get better. It will get better for the Denver Nuggets. We have them at number 2 for that reason. Number 1, still have the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics still have that it factor when it comes to everything that they're putting out. You have Jason Tatum. He was working magic in Christmas Day. But Boston, with Jason Tatum playing at an MVP level, is scary. They're playing championship defense. They're getting to the foul line. They're hitting threes. I mean, Jason Tatum is looking like I thought he should have looked last year in the finals. This is a different Jason Tatum. And which is crazy to think that he played as well as he did in the finals, except for, coming up a little short when it really, really mattered. He was still putting up good numbers. He has that it factor this year that I don't think we had or we've seen up until this point. So, big games coming up here. Starting Sunday, road trip out west. They play the Nuggets. They play the Mavericks. So we got some MVP candidates going head to head coming up here very, very soon. And there's going to be some fun games to watch. So I can't wait to see some of these matchups. But Boston, right now, they're looking solid. Obviously, Boston leading the East, a stacked East. For how long? I don't know. They're 2 games up on the Brooklyn Nets, who have won 10 straight and continue to be dominant, as we mentioned. But that's going to be a hell of a stretch for these teams to... you can't mess up in the East. You could easily find yourself falling out real quick. Ask the New York Knicks. New York Knicks, they were in the power rankings for a brief week last week. Now, they've lost 4 straight. And now they're looking like the Knicks that we know and love. They're competing, but it could be that quick in the East to get just lost in the wash with how good all these other teams are. Looking at the West, though, I think the West is a little more wide open. I could say in the East that with confidence, the top 5 teams have a chance. The Celtics, the Nets, the Bucks, the Cavs, the Sixers all have a chance to make a deep run into the playoffs. If not represent the East. I wouldn't be shocked by any one of those teams to represent the East. Cleveland might be kind of a surprise, but I mean, that was kind of a surprise that they're in this position in the first place. All the other teams were expected to be in this position. So nothing there. Outside of that, it falls off. So you got 5 teams in the East. Out West, all right, Pelicans, solid roster. They're looking good. Memphis Grizzlies, play some really solid defense. Gritty team. Ja Morant, electric. Clippers. Yeah, Clippers are the team representing LA now. Not the Lakers, the Clippers. And when Kawhi plays, they're pretty good. And Phoenix. Phoenix still has the roster from last year for the most part. So you expect that they're going to be in the same mix. Aging Chris Paul. I don't know how long Chris Paul can sustain what he's doing in the NBA. Obviously, he's still producing at a high level, even at this stage of his career. However, I don't think that is sustainable. I just think that, man, the Suns' meltdown last year kind of just irked me in a weird way, where I'm just like, I just don't feel as good about them. Sacramento, they'll probably make the playoffs the way they're playing. Dallas Mavericks, we haven't mentioned the Mavericks of Luka's crazy performance, 60, 21, and 10 the other night. Historic triple-double. But Luka, I think Dallas has some issues, though. Luka is going to get so burnt out before the playoffs that I hope he has enough gas in the tank. Putting up, I mean, he was exhausted after that 60-point triple-double. Insane game, by the way, against the New York Knicks. I mean, they were down 9 with 13 seconds left, or 33 seconds, or something like that. And I was just like, damn. That's some ball. I haven't seen that since Tracy McGrady did it back in the day. He scored like, I think it was like 7 points or 8 points in 13 seconds or something crazy. When T-Mac did it. But yeah, I mean, I think the Mavericks, for me, have issues from a depth chart standpoint. Dinwiddie, I don't know if he's consistent enough. Tim Hardaway, he can hit some threes, but he needs to be consistent. Christian Wood's a nice piece. Outside of that, I mean, Reggie Bullock, Davis Bertans, Dwight Powell. I mean, none of these really scream once Luka goes to the bench. That's not a team I'm scared of. When Luka's in there, obviously he's terrifying. I guess that's kind of how people look at the Nuggets potentially too. So I get it, but I just don't think that they're as good. Hornets still terrible. What's up, Kevin? Curvin, what's up? How we doing? Welcome in. Good to have you in. Are you a Hornets fan? Where are you from, and who's your team? Like to get to know you a little bit. Are you a Hornets fan? Yeah, the Hornets. Yeah. They're fine, though. They're fine. I think there's some nice pieces with the Hornets, though. I think that, the Hornets, you got LaMelo, Rozier. I mean, those are, some solid pieces, but still a few away. You need that one big superstar. And PJ, he's solid. He's a nice young kid. Like what he can bring to. Plumlee in the middle, he's all right. Heat fan. Oh, I should have seen the logo in your profile. Heat. All right, like it. Okay, perfect. How are you feeling about your Heat this year? How are you feeling about them? Do you high on what they can do? What's their ceiling, in your opinion? Because obviously the Heat. I mean this. They're right there in the mix. They're right under the Pacers at the moment. So I feel like the Miami Heat could make a run. I like their roster. I like their roster better than some of these other teams that are kind of competing in the bottom half of the playoff picture for the Eastern Conference. I mean, when you have Butler, Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, I mean, all those guys, those are veteran guys that can turn it on. Caleb Martin's playing good ball when he's not, day to day. He's kind of battling through some things. Jimmy Butler is too. But I like the Heat. I like the Heat. I mean, I like them better than the Pacers, and I think they could catch the Pacers in the standings. But Philly, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, and Boston are going to be the tough ones there. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Looking at the scoreboard tonight, we have a few games going on at the moment. So Memphis already wrapped up their game against Toronto, 119-106. You got Boston putting it to the Clippers. That's a hell of a matchup too. Clippers trying to get some momentum going here, but Boston shutting them down in this one at home. So Boston ends up improving on their record in the East in their first place record. Then you got Indiana Pacers. Nice win tonight against Cleveland. 135-126. That was one of my best bets of the night. We'll go over those in a second. Charlotte got the win against OKC. Speaking of Charlotte, Dallas in action at the moment against Houston. So we got a little battle down there in Texas. Currently, we got Luka, third quarter winding down. 3 minutes to go in the third. 26 points, 11 assists, 11 rebounds. He's already got that triple dub. He's already got it locked up. So that feels good if you're Luka. He's going for another 60. Probably won't get there. Probably not. But kind of crazy, though. Luka's putting up a crazy... He wants that MVP. He wants that MVP. There we go. Another bucket for Luka. Getting another 2 points, putting his total at 28. 9 for 19 shooting. Man. Pretty good. Pretty good. The Houston Rockets kind of in a tough spot here. Almost down 19 at the moment. So they have some catching up to do for my best bets. But guys, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. We are here every Thursday. Guys, we are also live on Twitch. I have a partner and myself do Wednesday and Sunday nights on Twitch where we do NFL action. We do NHL, MLB, top stories in the sports world. This is just kind of our NBA special that we do every Thursday night that we've started last week. So we want to build some momentum. So go ahead, share this with your friends. Share this with some other people that you guys might think will enjoy some NBA content. And we can't wait to get you guys in here and having some fun with us. We're going to grow this show a little bit more. It's only an hour show at the moment. So, we're going to be wrapping up here in a little bit. But I want to make sure that, we get a lot of people in and we can start expanding out how we approach this show and make it a little bit more fun for you guys. What are you guys looking for in your NBA content? Because that's going to be important for us to build this out that much better, to tailor it to what you guys want to see. So, we got our power rankings. We're going to include next week. We're going to start doing some top news stories for the NBA. We're going to get into some of those and kind of do a quick rundown of everything happening on that front. And then we're also going to be continuing to do the best bets of the week. So it's super excited to have you guys here. Make sure, again, you hit that subscribe button and get all the content that we have pushing out. And again, feel free to join us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Action Lab. I'll put it in the chat here for you guys. And then that way you can catch up with us all through the NFL playoffs. If I could type. All right, there we go. So there's the link, twitch.tv/Action Lab. That's where we are on Wednesday and Sunday nights with my co-host Scotty A. Smith. And we have a lot of fun talking about all things NFL, NHL, MLB, you name it. So make sure you guys go check that out. But again, share this with anybody you think that would love NBA content, and we will keep bringing it to you. We love it. So best bets of the night for tonight. Now, I'm going to go ahead. Pacers already covered that one. So we're already, I'm already 3-1 on the season from the Christmas games. So nice start there. Clippers +6.5. Let me double check. What did the Clippers lose by? Oh, by 6. Are you kidding me? Let's cash it in. 6.5. I covered by a half point. So we're 2-0 in the bet there. Let's see. Knicks and Spurs under 224. What are we approaching here? We're at 220 with 137 left. That's a sweat. That's a sweat right there. I don't know if we're going to catch that. We got to make sure they don't score 4 points in the next 137, which is a little bit difficult here. I think we're up against it. I think that over is going to hit, so I might miss out on that one. Crazier things have happened, though. Bunch of missed shots. You never know what could happen there. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And the final bet of the week is Rockets plus 10. Not looking good at the moment. Luka's up, I think, what was it, 19 a little bit ago? Still 19. Full timeout for Dallas in this one. So I do think that one's going to creep a little closer. Double digits. I think the Mavericks win tonight's game. I just don't think they do it by double digits. I think the Rockets can kind of ease their way back. Last time they played each other, it was I think it was a 6-point game that finished out. So, I think it was a close matchup before. It was close matchup in the first and second quarters, within, 9 points of each other. So I think it's doable. The Rockets, after a certain point, I think the Rockets can get back in it in garbage time. So kind of close the gap a little bit when Luka's on the bench. But Luka's having a crazy night. Also, Julius Randle for New York had a big night. 37, 9, and 7 assists. Pretty solid there. They're still going strong, and I am going to miss out on that one. So I'll probably hit, most likely, if everything stays the way it's supposed to tonight, I am looking at a 2-2 night. So we'll see how this ends up panning out. But the goal is to make this record go on the positive side, right? That's the goal. And, as we get more and more games under our belt and feel things out, we're going to have a lot of fun seeing how high we can get some of this win total for these bets of the week. And then if you guys want to see more, bets and different things on the NBA action, let me know. We can make some more content on that side as well. Other games, let's just look at some stat lines here across the board and see what kind of stands out. Tyrese Halliburton. Woo. Big night for him. It's still crazy to me that he was traded to the Pacers. I thought the Kings were insane for trading him, but hey, he's having a good time, putting up points, 29 points, 9 assists in his win against the Cavaliers, a top team in the East. So that's a big deal there. Then you got SGA for the Thunder, putting up 28 points in that loss against the Hornets. Hornets had almost a triple-double for LaMelo Ball, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. But the performance of the night right now is the Dallas Mavericks' Luka Doncic, 30 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. Doing it kind of like Jokic does it. My boy Jokic puts it up quick. You don't see it coming, and all of a sudden you look up and he's just balling out. So, with that being said, we'll see how the Rockets can close the deal there in Dallas and see if they could keep it a little bit closer. But there's our power rankings, guys, for the week. We will update these for next week, so make sure you stay tuned to hit that subscribe button so you know, and make sure your notifications are on. A lot of people forget that notifications are kind of a big deal when we go live, so make sure you go hit the notifications, turn those bad boys on, and we can make sure you guys get all of the alerts every time we go live. Also, twitch.tv/ActionLab in the chat. There it is. Make sure you go check that out on Wednesday and Sunday nights. We bring it each and every single week. So make sure you guys are there. We won't be live this Sunday, though, for New Year's. We don't do New Year's and Christmas because you guys have your own plans. You guys have your own things going on. So, we like to make sure you guys can, concentrate on your families and your friends and enjoy the holidays a little bit. And we'll catch up with you more after that on next Wednesday is our next stream for the Action Lab. So, but yeah, other than that, guys, that is going to be our show. These are our power rankings. I hope you had a good time. Make sure you guys share the stream. We appreciate each and every one of you, even if you're lurking in the background, hanging out. It's good to have you, but we also appreciate when you can come in and say a few things in the chat on your favorite teams and what you like and who's, what just your takes, your hot takes, your predictions, your opinions, anything. We'd like to get all of that. It makes my life easy too because I love to get to know you guys, and it makes the stream that much more fun for me on my end as well. So, hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Curvin, Daryl, Faithful Therapist, Scott, Riley, thank you for rolling through. It is a pleasure being here with you guys here in the Action Lab tonight on a Thursday edition of the NBA special. Can't wait to catch up with you next week on next Thursday and do it all again. All right, guys. We say this on our Action Lab. Go be a good person to the people around you, wherever you are. It always translates. Go do something nice for somebody, and don't expect anything in return. And then also, live in the moment like the Michelob guy at the golf tournament. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. Google it. You won't regret it. It's a feel good. It's a feel good. And that's pretty much it. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Go watch some NFL football. Go gear up for the new year. This is the last NBA New Year show. So happy New Year to all of you and your friends and family. Hope you have a fantastic year ahead. And we can't wait to share it with you coming into 2023. Love you guys. Have a great, great night.